There's just 1 minute to showtime.
The engines are on.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
When they wrote up the systems and the rule set that we use, did working people get to write a line? What class of men on pen and paper jotted down their clues, with capital the heart of their design? When 90 million want a thing, but some shareholders say no, which class of people get to have their way? The people read the fine print, say that this thing has got to go, and we'll start writing a new contract here today. Don't you know that hundreds will work and one man keeps the money? They don't think they gotta tell us why. When they say the new social contract, all the bosses will be gobsmacked and everyone will want a sign. Oh, yeah, everyone will want a sign.
Hello, everybody. Sorry
Did my camera go down again? Is that just for me?
Yes.
I
No,
don't
you're.
it's back now.
Okay, you're back. You're back. Yeah, yeah. And welcome to American Internet. I'm glad we mostly broadcast to the to the America because they understand our woes.
This is just like randomly, my camera just it's recognized and it's not. Then I'd plug it in. Like, this isn't the first day I've used this camera, or like I replaced a cable from a couple weeks ago where I was on a webcam for a little bit. But we've had many tests since then, and I don't understand why now it's deciding to have issues where it recognizes then doesn't and comes back. Like, I was trying to click on the option, I would see it, and then I would click, and then it would disappear again, as if like it stopped recognizing my camera after having recognized it. It's fine. We're here. Hopefully, it won't go out again.
It's the way it is. Like, what are you going to do? Like, this is the way it is for everybody. That's the way, like, it's embarrassing when, you know, like, you're being seen in, like, other countries with functioning, like, infrastructure and internet and stuff. But Americans know everything here is garbage. So they're used to it. They're used to, you know, everything going down, or anytime you try to stream a video, it going to shit and all of it sucking all the time, even though it definitely doesn't have to. So... But I can see you well. I can hear you well. I think we're probably back on track now.
It's like a cable issue for all I can tell. It's like, is my USB having issues? Is it my computer itself?
Yeah, what a mess. It's always something. But
doing things again.
It's haunted. Let's just settle on that. God, stop emailing me. I hate it when I'm, just so you know, like, if I'm doing a show and I'm seeing emails come in, I'm like, stop it! Because it's like that moment where it's like you don't know what to do. Like, you've had the phone forever, you've had the computer forever, and you're just like, I don't know what to do. My internet brain is not working. And I cannot figure out, do I just stop what I'm doing right now and go read the email? Do I just, like, whatever, you know? So that's what it is. Anyways, people, thank you for joining us, whether it be live or at your leisure after the fact. We're on all of the things at this point, so just watch wherever you want to watch. When I end up listing it, I get it wrong, so it's everywhere. You can find us. And this is. If you probably already know this, don't need me to tell you, but it's Thanksgiving week, so that's happening in a couple of days. So I'm sure lots of people are traveling and getting COVID and spreading it. I mean, I'm not allowed to say that. Actually, I shouldn't have said that. But I'm a Thanksgiving Grinch. I hate Thanksgiving. I always have. I really, really do. You know, back when, aside from the fact that like where I'm going into year 2 here of like no work and can't afford holidays anymore. So that's fun. Going in like that, just aside from that, like double Grinch on that. But I am a huge Thanksgiving Grinch. It used to be like the most nightmare day. Like, people come over that I don't want in my life anytime, anyway. And then like all the football, and I hate football. And then it was always so one-sided. You know, it was like my mom had to do everything. Like we would help as much as we could, but it's like all on her. You know, so and I hate people that do that still in this day and age. So you know, and it's still going on, and I hate it. I really do. But if you are the kind of person, I think it's just the traditional stuff, and the food is disgusting. I mean, to me, because I just don't like food. I hate it. So I hate everything. I just hate everything about it. So there's nothing that I enjoy about Thanksgiving. So
Nicolette, you gotta alter your Thanksgiving into something that you like, because that's part of why I like Thanksgiving so much, is it's so alterable.
Yeah.
If you don't like the particular food items, you can just make whatever you want. It doesn't have to be turkey. Yeah. If you don't like the people, go see different people.
Yeah, right. Like that's my mom and I started to do that like a couple years ago. We started having it just ourselves and getting away from people we didn't like, and like we would make like chili.
Like enchiladas for Thanksgiving.
Right? Yeah, we started, and that was fun. Like a few years ago, we ate chili and like ate pumpkin cake and chili, and we watched like all of the Lord of the Rings extended cut. Like that was our Thanksgiving, and it was fucking awesome.
It can be a great time.
Yeah, so yeah, that is true. I hate traditional Thanksgiving and the traditional mores and roles that people play. So yeah, no, you're 100% correct on that one. And I'm glad that you have a good time as well. But I was always more of a Christmas person. I was like, let's just blow past this. Like let's pretend we're not home. Like nobody for Thanksgiving. Like no Thanksgiving.
I personally, I don't know when the dramatically appropriate time. It is, hey, Thanksgiving show. This is the first time I've not worked on a Tuesday in a couple of years at this point. Like Tuesday is always my big work day, which is part of why we record this Tuesday mornings. And it's like, all right, I try to concentrate to have one big full day rather than most of my things are like, I don't work until like 7 p.m. Then I have to do 3 hours of stuff. So I just spend all day going, well, I'm at work today. I have to. It just makes the whole morning not feel like I'm like off, even though I'm not working hard hours, so I don't ever want to complain. But hey, I have a bottle of Pennsylvania from here, Heritage Wine Cellars. Shout out Heritage Wine Cellars. Go up to the Erie County wine area that does exist. If
you want to do like morning wine,
it's Thanksgiving, and I want to freaking.
That's true.
It is okay, yes. It's Tuesday, but it will be Thanksgiving. So
it will be Thanksgiving at some point. That is a true fact. So no, definitely, it's time for the indulgences. Make it happen, buddy.
I have this. Whenever we go back to Pennsylvania to visit my family, we try to, if we can convince. My parents aren't ever nearly as excited to go up as we are, but it's like if you want, imagine.
More emails.
I've never gone to.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I've never gone to like California.
Stop emailing me.
I've never gone to like Napa Valley or anything because I'm not that fancy. But I imagine that it's like a more down-to-earth version of what you would get in like a Napa Valley, because you're in Erie, Pennsylvania, in the middle of nowhere. Like this place, we went a few years ago. It's just like their barn, and you go in, and there's like a bar, like a little circle thing where they are, and then there's just bottles all around like a U shape. And you just go like, let me try that one. It's like, sure. And they give you a little plastic cup, so you can just hang out and just sample these fruity wines all day. Fruity, not pejoratively fruity. They're literally fruity. This is a cherry. This is a dark cherry wine. They have peach and strawberry and apple.
Adorable. Yeah, that's really cute. I like the aesthetic. Like I'm not a drinker, but I like the aesthetic of it. Like you just described. Like that sounds nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Like dark. Now they've become more of a recognized, as more money comes in and more people do a little bit of tourism there. The bars are getting nicer, but it's still like middle of nowhere Pennsylvania, so they can't get that fancy because people don't have that much money. Mm-hmm. The most annoying thing is when people they started doing because I'm sure it's dudes come in and just drink a bunch of samples and don't buy anything and leave. If I'm doing a bunch of samples, I'm buying at least a couple of bottles. That's like, in my opinion, the unwritten contract there that you have, which is I'm going to drink a bunch of your wine for free and hang out, but I'm going to buy something.
Social contract, you might say.
But they started doing like tokens. You have to get get some sample tokens. This one costs 2 tokens because it's an ice wine and it's fancy, and this one costs 1 token. Tokens are $1, and you're like, this is nonsense.
No, people have abused this system, and now no one can have fun.
Or they're just greedy. I assume though that some people were just coming and drinking like whole bottles worth of samples and then piecing out.
Yeah, that sucks. Like people are like, I hate when people do things like that. Like it's just like, could you think about someone else for like 1 second in your life? You know, that this is these people's livelihood. They don't have to be treating you this way, and then you're the reason that they're going to have to fuck the whole system up and then make it so you have to buy tokens now. Yeah,
Gotta
but
get tokens. It's
you got to buy the tokens. No, I think that sounds good because like it's like you wouldn't necessarily be like, oh yeah, wine the wine destination, Erie, Pennsylvania, you know, but that's cool because it's like you get the lesser like crowd, you know, like if you're going, like you say, if you go out to one of these main destinations, it's going to be like tons of people all the time, and it's like way more bougie, and it's like, but this is more like, you know, to me, just I the way I'm picturing it seems like pretty rad actually. So
drive around your truck a little bit, go to. That's the only one of the negatives is they're all far enough apart that you either have to have a designated driver or you can't actually drink that much because you're driving like a mile or 3 between these vineyards.
it reminds me of a few. We have, you know, some vineyards here as well, and like local places that
Do
people
wine
like.
in Indiana?
Yeah, we do. There's more than corn. That was actually a slogan for an amusement park. There's more than corn in Indiana. But actually, Indiana gets the corn reputation when it's in Illinois and Ohio that, you know, are like major corn destinations. Those places are wastelands. Let me tell you, like almost all of both states are complete wastelands. But Indiana is very populated, and there's like pockets of wasteland. But mostly it's the other two states. But we get the reputation for it. But there is a local winery, and when I was shooting my last film, it was a while ago, I had to count. My last film was Buster, Where Art Thou? I had some friends, like in a mutual group of people that we were all going up there to meet, and I had, you know, money at the time, and I had bought like a bunch, like probably like a dozen bottles of honey mead and honey mead or whatever, and I took it and gave it out as gifts to some of the people up there. So, and that was from the Oliver Winery, and that's like a big one here. That's the big main one is Oliver Winery, but I never tasted it. I don't know because I don't like alcohol. I don't like anything. Like that's the one thing to know about me is I don't like anything. If there's something that people like, I don't like it. So that's like my whole main thing. That's why we have this show, because I don't like what's going on. So I don't like Thanksgiving, and I don't like drinking, and I don't like the state of play. So that's why we're here. This is actually, if you were with us last week, then you know that we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary of Social Contract. But this being the very next day or week being on a holiday, it's still going to be the same antics and silliness, I think, as there were last week, because it's, you know, it's a holiday already. Like definitely a holiday brain for me, you know, and I think probably for most people. So we will get to the shitty stuff. That's what we're here for. We're gonna get to it, but it's fun to have fun sometimes too, as well. 13 minutes of fun. So yeah, hey, we had tech problems. We can do what we want, and it's our show, so we can do what we want. And don't forget it. It's a pretty weird time in politics right now. Good news on paper, at least. I said this in my TikTok this morning. Good news on paper. We'll see if it plays out in IRL. But the ICC arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu. Woohoo! Woohoo! Air horns, confetti.
It's a funny one.
Yeah, and now I think we're up to about 125 countries who said they will abide, including Great Britain and Canada.
Canada, the people who brought a literal Nazi who served in the Waffen-SS to Parliament, and they gave him 9 standing ovations. They will, however, arrest Benjamin Netanyahu if he shows up.
But here's the thing, like, the reason I say that, like, it sounds good on paper, it's exciting when you're a leftist and you hear that kind of thing, but it's like, do you really think that these people would? If he full out landed, he's on the tarmac, do you really think that they're sending the Mounties to go get him, you know, like, or anywhere?
He just won't go to Canada, but you have to remember, this has been brought up because of this, the Hague Invasion Act, which the U.S., I think George Bush signed that thing in, and every other president, nobody else has taken it away, which is, if the ICC, the Hague, you hear, like, Hague is, that's
the way I say it. I
think
think
the city, or is that the court is the Hague?
Yeah.
But
I would say with the hard A, the Hague.
The town that it's in, the International Criminal Court, we wrote a thing where if anybody, if any U.S. ally is ever like brought up in that court, we will invade and destroy the town and court. Like not, we will protest. Like no, we will show up with the army and go to war and blow up this town.
Yeah.
So no, it will never happen unless we are going to blow up a town in, what is it, Switzerland or something?
Right.
A town in Europe.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like like say there's some sort of air emergency or something, and his plan
He's
lanes
forced to land.
forced to land in Great Britain or in Canada or something. Like
Be really
I
funny.
don't really honestly foresee. I think everybody would just be like, we didn't know about it. We didn't even hear about it or anything.
It's like an opposite of when in South Africa. Actually, I got an article that kind of mentions the same thing. Because Vladimir Putin has also been has an arrest warrant out for him from the ICC, and they were doing an interview with a leader in South Africa, and they're like, "So if Putin comes here, are you gonna arrest him?" And he's like, "No, what are you, stupid?" Basically. And then like a week later, he's doing because they're doing economic deals with Russia because it's Africa. I mean, South Africa's a little different than like the Congo, but. It's interesting because yes, there's a warrant out for Netanyahu, but if you look at who the ICC seems to just be, they only ever because of the Hague Invasion Act, they can't do anything to any NATO anybody.
Right.
It's just Africans. They just indict a bunch of Africans. That's basically the entire function of the ICC. And you know, some are deserving, some aren't, but it's just always weird to be like, oh, I see. Saudi Arabia can do anything. I don't give a shit. Any friend, Turkmenistan, literal dictatorship. Like everything you think about North Korea is just happening in Turkmenistan, which is a NATO ally, and everyone loves Turkmenistan because they have no problem with us. But it's countries you never heard of. That guy's never getting brought up on ICC charges.
Right.
It's like a clown court of official enemy list of the Western nations. So the fact that Netanyahu's on it is weird, right? It's like, shouldn't happen.
What's cool about it, I think, is the symbolism of it, because it's like we kind of turned a corner here, and as far as that goes, well, it's just like, you know, like I don't necessarily see it playing out the way that we would like to play out, but the fact of it is, it's like the symbolism is good of it, because then you have like these leaders of these countries, even our allies, are coming out and be like, yeah, if he comes here, we're going to arrest him, even if they don't mean it. They're saying it, so they are feeling some sort of obligation or wanting to bandwagon on something, or tired of getting boycotted or whatever. Which also, fun side note, I posted about this on the social contract page, but apparently the American company that holds stake in Sabra, the Israeli hummus, because as you know, I eat hummus like every day. Like I am a hummus enjoyer, and something I like, so I eat it like every day, and Sabra is fucking gross. It's like literally like the grossest one, unsurprisingly. But the American holding company that owns stock in it has sold off their stock because they're tired of the boycotts and they don't want to be associated with it anymore. So suck it, Sabra. That's what we're getting yelled at. Side note about that. But excuse me. I think it all kind of is playing into the fact that, big headline on that, boycotts work. You know, like that's, I think, what, you know, you really need to take away from that headline is if the only thing you can do in your life to support Palestine and places that are being marginalized by unnecessarily by the United States and bad powers, bad actors, is boycotts. If you can just not go to McDonald's, you're doing something, and that is really good, and it's pretty fucking excellent of you, because it actually makes a difference. If an American company decided that somebody that they deal with isn't worth it anymore, and that happens to be an Israeli company, then all the better. So yeah, but this whole thing is, maybe it's only just, you know, smoke and mirrors. Maybe it's just people falling in line, feeling like they need to do what they need to do. But it looks good, at least. It looks good on the internet. It looks good in bites that we take, you know, when we read a headline and that kind of a thing. And yes, did you have a passage you wanted to refer to in your presentation here?
Yeah, let's skim through a little bit of this. This is from a very rare place that I read from. We have MSNBC.
Yikes.
Democrats and Republicans offer hypocritical response to ICC's Netanyahu arrest warrant. Democrats and Republicans, this is the new MSNBC. This is the post-Trump election #2 MSNBC.
So cool.
Both sidesing things. All right, let's see what the bend of this is. By Amon Moyeldin. I never read article names, and this was a mistake. I shouldn't have gone for that one. That was a hard one. I almost definitely said it wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, it's apparently from an episode of A Man.
Yeah, probably a podcast. Then the transcribed. So that's what they're doing now on MSNBC. They're transcribing shows, and that's the article.
For the first time in history, the International Criminal Court issued landmark arrest warrants against a major ally of the United States. On Thursday, the ICC issued warrants for Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant, along with Hamas military leader Mohammed. See, they're running out of ones to indict because they just keep killing them. So it's like, well, all right, just go down the list of people we don't like in Palestine.
Anybody that still exists.
Oh, Israel has said it killed Daif earlier this year. All right, so I guess warrant served. The world's highest criminal court, which is made up of 124 countries, including all 27 members of the EU, is now saying that if Netanyahu or Gallant set foot on the territory of a state party, the state has an obligation to arrest. Yeah, that's what a warrant is when you agree to be part of the ICC, which is what I was talking about earlier, where you join the ICC because it looks good, and then the only people you actually persecute are random African leaders who, a lot of them are actual freaking war criminals doing bad things, but we don't ever go after anybody in England who's doing weird shit, or Australia, or Japan, or... Right. It is worth noting that the U.S., despite playing a critical role in establishing and operating the United Nations War Crimes Commission, the World War II tribunals at Nuremberg and Tokyo, and more recent international tribunals, it is not a signatory to the ICC, because we would have to then do a bunch of shit. It's like us and one other country, and it's another one of those. It's like the people who don't use the metric system and the people who don't sign on to the ICC. Neither is Israel. That's the other one. There it is. It's U.S. and Israel. But the jurisdiction of the ICC extends beyond member states, and its word carries tremendous weight. They didn't put it in quotes. The language in Thursday's ruling is devastating. Netanyahu, he's devastated. The warrants...
Yeah, right? Like, yeah, let's just take that for a minute. Like, oh, he's just like, no!
Oh my God,
right. Yeah, fucking right.
I can't believe they said that about me.
Oh. They're so mean.
It states that they are responsible for the war crime of starvation as a method of warfare and crimes against humanity, murder, persecution, and other inhumane acts, all the obvious things.
Yeah.
As well as intentionally directing an attack against the civilian populations. Like, Gaza only has a civilian population. They don't have, like, a military.
Right.
But what about Hamas? It's like, that's like a bunch of rednecks with shotguns. It's not really an army. It's just, what else are you going to do, man? Your options are to lay down and let them bomb you, or run around and be like, I'm going to try to shoot at you before you bomb me. Right. And I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I was born into a conflict like that. If fucking Glendale, I'm cursing a lot, man. I've had a sip of wine. If freaking Glendale was...
Our show, damn it, we can say what we want.
If Phoenix treated Glendale the same way that Israel treats Palestine, I don't know. I might be joining some kind of group to, put a stop to that, or at least attempt, or at least die fighting rather than sitting in a hospital or school. No one has closely followed this war over the past 14 months. No one who has followed it for the past 14 months would be surprised by these charges, especially that Israel is using starvation as a weapon of war. MSNBC, where the hell? You fired a complete asshole, frickin' Mehdi Hassan, for saying less than this. What happened in the last few months? All right. But there is more obvious proof that, as the ICC states, Israel knowingly deprived the civilian population of food, water, medicine, etc. Which is funny because it was the U.S. is kind of helping out with all this. Oh, look, there's a picture of a sad Bernie Sanders. He's doing his triple third redemption arc at this point.
Oh God, yes.
But I want to get to this part here where, make no mistake, the hypocrisy and depravity here is bipartisan. Oh my God, both sides are bad, MSNBC. It's worth remembering how Biden and the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, reacted when the ICC charged Vladimir Putin with war crimes in 2023. The President and Secretary of State welcomed those charges and urged the international community to comply with them. But make no mistake, the hypocrisy and depravity here is bipartisan. Last month, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina called the ICC arrest warrant for Putin a giant step in the right direction for the international community. But on Thursday, Graham called the ICC a rogue and politically motivated organization. And on Friday, he threatened to impose sanctions on any U.S. ally that enforces warrants against Netanyahu and Gallant. It's like, oh, so we've backed down from the Hague Invasion Act, and now we're just going to do some sanctions? That doesn't seem so bad. Go ahead, get them, Canada.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Lindsey Graham in this, because it's, I don't think anybody's really ever accused him of being smart or politically correct on anything ever. And it's just who the hell paid you to say this dumb shit? This is the thing now. This is what you're saying. We're going to sanction our best friends because we don't like who they said they don't like now. And it's real serious. It's super serious. I'm on the news.
Possible turn. What if Ukraine arrests Netanyahu? Then we have to...
Yeah, I just had to stop kind of and like, Ukraine's like, do you like us again? Please give us money again. Can we have guns now? But that was also on the docket. They're getting plenty now that Biden's. Maybe it's just. I don't want to hop on this next topic so fast, but it's like.
You might as well.
I'm not like, I'm not that old. But I've been politically aware. I've been voting since I was 18. Like I cannot remember another time, really, unless I just wasn't tuned into it, where an outgoing president wasn't just like, hey, but this one, like usually they just go out and they just like, they don't give a fuck about anything. And this time I'm seeing this whole thing play out. And I can't remember another time someone was like quickly, as fast as they could in their Alzheimer brain, trying to start World War III before they got evicted from office a couple months later. Like it is really bizarre. He obviously, either is trying, he's being blackmailed, or he's trying to like get something off the back end of this real fast, because saying that giving the Ukraine missiles at this stage, and with this president who should by all rights just completely fuck right off, but isn't. I don't understand it. Like I literally cannot like get my head around it really, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like other than there has to be obviously some corruptive element working in there. Not to say that he was honest up to this point, but just to say there has to be something going on that is
Biden has nothing
motivating
to do with
this specifically. Because things have been pretty much winding down as far as Ukraine, and it remains to be seen. But when Trump gets in, like he had a good relationship with Putin, so I don't see him carrying on by propping up Ukraine. So it seems almost like they're quickly trying to like, this administration is quickly trying to give them like nukes and crazy shit to do something with after Trump pulls the plug on it. Like not to say he definitely will, but I kind of feel like, with his relationship with Putin is being and like coming to be actually a good thing somehow.
There's the angle where you could argue you don't know until anything happens. There's a possibility that it's like, oh, they're trying to lock us into a worse war in Ukraine, Russia, blah blah blah, so Trump can't get in and end it. But that also would assume that Putin is like, if that is what was happening, you'd have to assume that Putin isn't dumb enough to like kind of figure that out and go, oh, I see, they only got a little bit longer with this guy, so they're gonna try to like enrage us as much as possible. But that's if you want to give benefit of the doubt to Trump that he's actually going to end anything. I think it's more likely that he's going to show up and he's like, all right, Russia, here's the deal. You have to suck my dick for 6 straight days and you get nothing. And if you don't accept that, the war continues forever. And of course, Putin's going to be like, well, no, I'm not doing that. Like, there was like the proposed one was like, you can't join NATO for 10 years. And it's like, well, we can't do this like we do with U.S. funding bills where you just keep booting it down the road forever. It's like, no, we'll do the war in 10 years. Okay, 20 years. How about 25? Final offer, like, which would likely be after Putin's either like dead or too old. He probably won't be president in 20 more years.
Right.
Like, I don't
know. It's just like it's such an odd. Not that like I can't see it for what it is. Like there's obviously something going on here, trying to in some way for some reason ramp things up real fast before handing over the keys. It's just that like it's confusing. It's a confusing situation to me because I feel like I've never seen any other outgoing president do this kind of thing before, and especially when we knew that like I don't specifically think Biden has made this decision. I don't think that he's been making decisions.
I don't think he's made a decision in the entire term.
Right. Yeah. This is coming down to the cabinet, the people around him, whatever. I mean, and if you want to argue elder abuse, you could do it on your own show. But Biden's going to hell on his own merit.
I think the only thing he decides is what way he's going to walk off the stage after a speech.
Right. Yeah. And then and to taunt reporters and stuff who are asking like, why do you keep doing this shit? And he's like, hey, why are you even here? It just is bullshit. I'm so sick of his bullshit. Not that I'm like, yay, Trump, like obviously. And then when you're a leftist, you have to say that every other fucking minute because nobody, like anytime you say anything, they're like, oh, all right, Trumper, all right, Trump supporter. And it's like that it couldn't be further from what this is. You realize this is not a binary situation, right? Like there is another area of people who don't like any of this stuff. And that's where I am at, way over there. So it just is really a surprising, weird turn of events that obviously he's either he or they, let's say they, the Biden administration, is going to benefit from real quick. Like they're trying to get this last grab of something, foothold, a hold in it, keep Ukraine hanging on, because it has been said very publicly that they're sitting on like trillions of dollars of minerals. So I mean that's obviously got to be playing into this somehow. And I feel like I wish I was more informed about this, but I don't think the information is there. I just feel very confused about like what exactly, it's like a time will tell situation. I feel so confused about like what exactly, it's the motivation for this, and how is Trump going to come into this and change or alter the situation, and whether or not he wants to escalate with Putin, even though last time they were on pretty good terms and everybody hated him for it for some reason.
Well, we're in a fun situation where now we're going to flip from MSNBC to possibly the opposite of that, if one exists. We have Newsweek, and we're listening to Marjorie Taylor Greene, who,
oh yes,
I'm telling you, it's not that I love Marjorie Taylor Greene, but you're in a weird world when she's one of the people who speaks sense. She's in a unique position where everybody already treats her like an asshole, so she kind of can get, but she's extremely secure in her own district. Her own district likes her a lot. So, and they like her because she comes out and says the truth every once in a while. Every once in a while, because since she isn't as beholden to the same groups of people as the establishment, as true uniparty people, she's one of the MAGA.
It's the monkey in front of a typewriter thing. Like eventually, if you put in that adage, eventually if you put enough monkeys in front of typewriters, one of them is going to turn out Shakespeare. Like that's, I think the situation is just like hit and miss with her so much that or like miss, and then eventually you get a hit. And she has been correct about some things, but only like a couple of things ever. Like let's be clear. Like it's because it has been about like let's itemize like where's the money going, and that I think everybody kind of can get behind no matter what side you're on. But it's the same thing that I always bitch about Trump. It's like, don't make me have to defend them. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in a situation where I have to say that this person is terrible and I hate them but they're right.
She's way into culture wars. She's way into going to war with China, but specifically on like a couple of the other wars, she is not. I don't even know her I don't know her Israel. I don't look into her positions a lot. But
well, she's just not benefiting the way that the others at the top are benefiting from them. She's still politically low on the pyramid. You know what I mean? Like she's not
supposed to be there. She's
right. Exactly right.
I think all the other Congress people look at her like, and that's what makes her district like her. She actually manages to keep the whole like I'm an outsider, keep sending me, because she's treated like an outsider. They treat her like an asshole all the time.
Yes.
And she's kind of like, I wish she'd stop doing all this weird culture war stuff, even though I think that's how she got elected in the first place, like doing goofy stunts, like, or just saying weird shit on the internet. But in this case, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG Magic the Gathering, has suggested that Biden administration is trying to start a nuclear war after she shared unconfirmed reports saying that the administration was considering sending nuclear weapons to Ukraine.
Oh, suddenly it's unconfirmed, even though it's been all over the news and all over the internet. Like, it's unconfirmed, though.
Which, if you remember, is the exact reason that Russia is so intent on the Ukraine cannot join NATO. They must meet. When the term neutralized is thrown around, it's not neutralized as in killed, wiped off the map, like nuked. It is neutralized like Mexico has been neutralized. Mexico cannot legally join a Chinese military alliance or a Russian military alliance or an Iranian military alliance, just like how Russia does not want Ukraine to be joining military alliances, because if you join a military alliance like that, why do you join those alliances? They then start moving weapons into your country. Also, conveniently, you are forced to buy a lot of American military-industrial complex weapons. But if Ukraine was in NATO, you bet your ass there would be nukes on the Russian border now. Like, the second that they are a member state. It's also funny that they keep voting them out. Like, it's not that they keep trying to join and, oh, no, something... The other NATO members have voted down Ukraine multiple times. So if the goal is to get them into NATO, hey, NATO, why don't you just let them in? Stop being bitches. Start the nuclear war. The thing you apparently want to do. They're just trying to make sure Russia does it first. Quote, so just keep doing more like, I'm not touching you shit. And it doesn't benefit me as a random American broke person.
Yeah,
but
also it's like sort of to keep stringing Ukraine along, to act like, yeah, no, we're taking you really seriously. Like, this is for real. We're going to put you in one of these days. You hang on. You stick with us, and we'll get you in NATO. And then everybody's like, no. So
I'd
I
love
think
to
that's
know what the average Ukrainian thinks. Like, if a large population, even in the West, like, are they really all still like, yes, we must continue the war? It's like, well, you have like a whole generation of people just wiped out at this point. Is that good?
right.
You just want to keep doing this?
Benefiting your economy, other than the fact that America is supporting it. So yeah,
Well, she what do we got?
yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
shared a post from the X account of I was trying to figure out who Mario Nawfal is in this. I've never heard that name. Nawfal, who was described by NBC News in 2023 as one of the ascendant alternative media stars. Okay, internet person, like us, following Elon Musk's takeover on the platform, who has 1.7 followers on Twitter, I guess. Posted, "What the fuck? U.S. wants to arm Ukraine with nukes before Biden leaves?" Question mark. In jaw-dropping twist, Biden officials are reportedly seriously considering giving nuclear weapons to Ukraine. So that's what this dude said. Nawfal.
awful.
Taylor Greene shared this in a post that's been viewed almost 300,000 times. She said, "This is insane and completely unconstitutional, possibly an act of treason." I mean, if that is happening, I would agree with those things. I don't know if it's treason because I don't know the definition, but it would be insane and unconstitutional. You can't declare war without Congress's approval, and this must be stopped immediately. Is the Biden admin trying to start a nuclear war and use it as a reason to stop the transfer of power to Trump? I mean, I think that's going pretty far. But it wouldn't shock me that much if they're like, we're at war, we can't change presidents. We did that in World War II. Remember when FDR got like 4 terms?
Yeah, right. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna not.
Which is, funnily enough, is probably what Netanyahu's strategy is, why he can't let the war end, because they fucking hate him over there. Like, he's heavily protested all the time by his own people. So
right.
as soon, if you remember, shortly before this war, there was all this like, oh, Netanyahu lost power. Oh, can they make the parliament? Can they make a coalition government to beat Netanyahu? Blah, blah, blah. Like, that's the kind of situation he's in. But as long as the war keeps going, he's gonna maintain his power. So that's a whole nother like wrinkle on the situation. It is in no way unheard of for leaders to be like, keep the war going, so I must be forever president.
He was out for a while. It was like whatever kangaroo system they've got going on over there. I don't even know about. I'm not getting invested.
Because it's a parliament, and they make a coalition of certain parties. No party is more than 50%. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So he had been ousted for a little while, but really they just spent the whole time conspiring ways to get him back into power, and then he ultimately was. So through whatever channels means, however it works, that's whatever. But you're right. He was ousted for a short period of time. 2 years, about 2 years, something like that, a few years ago.
So, listening to, who was this? Michael Clark, professor at Department of War Studies and former Director General of the Royal United Services Institute. What? The world is no nearer to a nuclear war than it was before the latest Russian invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. That guy told Newsweek. The central balance of strategic nuclear deterrence between Russia and the West hasn't changed for 50 years. And I don't think this article even goes on to mention it, which is kind of funny. But recently, it's not that the U.S. has sent new different kinds of missiles to Ukraine. It's that, if I understand this correctly, Ukraine does not have the capabilities to do long distance strikes like into Russian territory. They are currently, but they've been striking into parts of Ukraine that Russia has recently like taken, like the line. They're basically bombing eastern parts of Ukraine, and there have been some limited strikes technically across the border, but only this tiniest little bit. But now Biden has said, you know what, we're going to help you. We're going to give you the targeting capabilities to use these long range missiles, and potentially, I mean, they aren't saying like go strike Moscow, but in theory, those missiles could reach. So now Russia's sitting there like, well, if we get hit from a missile from Ukraine that we know they could not send on their own, that they would need either British or American intelligence, whatever, to make work, we're going to consider that an attack from you, because of course it is. That makes complete sense to me. Like, if I take my neighbor's car and drive it into your house because my neighbor said, hey, take my car and drive it into that guy's house, it's probably going to be on both of us, not just me.
Yeah, right? There might be some repercussions there about who gets the blame on that one.
Don't blame me. I didn't drive my car into your house. I just told that guy to do it, gave him the keys and directions to your house.
Then going back to kind of what you said earlier, it does make me kind of wonder in this situation, because I feel like probably, I don't know if it's just like, allowed, and if it was, they'd probably find some reason to try to, say don't. But I feel like probably Trump and his team have already made contact with Putin. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they've probably already discussed.
Oh,
this.
that's the blah 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 act. I can't remember. It's a Logan Act, a violation of the
Logan
Logan
Act?
Act.
Okay, well,
He's
I mean, he
technically
didn't give
not
a
allowed to
shit.
talk to him.
Yeah, I know he's not supposed to, but like nobody does anything by laws. All the shit that they were trying to pin on him before is like just got dropped because they're like, oh, we can't do it anymore. Sorry, guys, whatever. And it's like it was stupid to begin with. We all know this was a red herring going nowhere.
Oh, the real estate shit was it's like if you're gonna. You can't charge Trump with anything real because then they'd have to all charge themselves.
Right, exactly. And that makes me, yeah, you're right. I know that there are laws that prohibit the doing of that shit, but it's like, who's actually paying attention to any of that stuff?
You just tell a guy to send an email to a guy and it
right,
gets there. Like,
right, yeah, because it seems
call.
to me like the Trump and the Trump people would like fall back on the fact that Trump kind of kissed his ass, during his administration, and try to be like, hey, I know that this sucks and this is bad. We can't do anything about it, but like if you just hang on a little bit, like we'll cut this off as soon as something like that. Like if they were smart, I'm not going to accuse them of being so.
Accuse them of intelligence.
But he's got the second time around thing going on. It doesn't look like he's surrounding himself with any more, less morons than before. So I mean, they're just different ones in a lot of cases. So it's I don't know. I feel like I've got a feeling about like maybe that's in play somewhere, because you said something about like maybe Putin won't fall for this, and he is an intelligent leader. I mean, if nothing else, he's been in there a long time. He knows his country. He knows his people. He's got this. Even though on the mainstream news they show you like, oh, these are anti-Putin protests in Russia, like 80 people, huh? No, he's widely supported. They're happy, with the way things are going with that. And
as I understand, if anything, the general Russian population is kind of like, why the fuck are we letting this go on so long? Just roll in there and end this shit.
Just go in there, wait. House. And I think that is showing a lot of restraint on Putin's part. Again, not saying I support him.
You got to keep in mind the context of the 20 million Russians died in World War II fighting the Nazis. So if a country is perceived as being Nazi-ish and the enemy is perceived as the Nazis, there is not a Russian living whose grandparent or great-grandparent, or sometimes just parent, didn't die in what they call the Great Patriotic War.
Right. Yeah, so, no, it's a little different than you read in your American history books when you were growing up.
They are very anti-Nazi.
Yeah. Yeah, but the American and Western media likes to portray them as Nazis. They're like, oh, here's these Nazi cells. And it's like, no, it's not them. I mean, obviously, there's going to be like pods of Nazis everywhere. That's how they work. They go just like anything. They go somewhere and they try to wheedle the population into joining them.
It's like how in Star Trek, the Federation super hates the Borg, especially on Earth, because the Borg showed up and wiped entire cities off the they remember, they keep track of.
Yeah, they keep track of these things. So that's what I just feel like if you were an incoming president, like you would like, because let me back this up a minute. Whenever Jimmy Carter was running for a second term, but Reagan was wanting to come in and be the motherfucker and like take over, like him and his team like kept messing up the deals that they were. So I'm not an expert in this. I'm just trying to hit the high points here. They kept messing up the deals with like releasing hostages and like in like Iran in this situation. Mm-hmm. And they kept messing it up and undermining it. And like they were in secret communications with
I assume
them.
That's where the Logan Act probably came from.
Yeah, well, that's my point. Like they were that happens. Like they weren't even guaranteed that administration was coming in yet. But the Reagan administration that managed to fuck up like life 40 years after they were even out of office, and all of them go to prison. That's where those people knew what they were doing. And so to get in and undermine Carter, who was widely liked but seen as not a very effective president, they went in kind of underneath the radar and behind that administration's back to create a deal with them to say like, let's do it, let's us do it. And then that's what makes me feel like Trump, who does that kind of shit and always wants the art of the deal, act like he's that guy. I feel like would probably be doing something very similar. But I don't know. Like,
I quickly Wikipedia'd this, and the Logan Act is much, much older than that.
yeah,
It is
okay.
named
Yeah,
after.
see, I might not have all the details exactly right. I'm talking.
No, it's funny how old it is. In 1798, there were negotiations with the French, and President Adams was like talking to the French, and then who is this? Dr. George Logan of Pennsylvania, state legislator, was like also talking to France, trying to like convince them otherwise. Like you can't undermine the government by showing up as like another representative. It's like, okay, that makes sense. But the funny thing is, it's like the punishment is it's like a felony and up to 3 years prison. Like that's it.
Okay, yeah, let's enforce that one. Like, and that's what I mean. Like Reagan, being the villain that he was, and the people that he was working with, did that. Like where they were, even if I have the details wrong, that happened. You can look it up.
Yeah.
Like it's a thing.
Oh, totally. That sounds like a hell of a violation of the Logan Act to me.
Right. We know that nobody was like, we don't hear anything about, and then he violated the Logan Act and never was president because it was so
executed him by firing squad.
Right. Yeah. No. He went on to do the worst shit that's ever been done to this goddamn country. And that's the thing of it. And someone like Trump, who was there, like a living, breathing adult, not like people who like me who were born when it happened and like had no say in it. But like he, like it's employing these tactics. Some of those people are still alive that were doing those things. Like he could be talking to them. Somebody could say like, we could talk to a guy who could talk to a guy who could talk to a guy, and we can get this sorted out.
Yeah.
Like that's just and it almost feels like it might be a better thing this time through if they can get Putin not to take the bait. But at the same time, from his point of view, Russia is risking letting Ukraine really, really fuck them up because like they were handed the keys, to our nuclear arsenal, and here we go again.
I just wish we could get some kind of realistic view of. I want, real information as to what is even happening. Because depending on who you listen to, either Ukraine is apparently 2 seconds away from taking over all of Russia, or Russia is 2 seconds away from taking over all of Europe. Like which one is more true? It's what's actually happening?
We like to try to have more information when we bring up a subject.
Has Ukraine lost 500,000 people? Has Russia lost 6 billion trillion people?
I think we're all kind of in the same boat right now, being like, what is the motivation here? What is going on? What do you?
It's so weird we don't hear about it. Like you think there would be more shit just like showing up, just videos that soldiers are taking, just being like, look, things are crazy. Like, how much information do we get coming out of Gaza? You see that kind of constantly, but then I don't know. Ukraine's it's just happening over there. I keep thinking it's gonna just end with a nothing, and then it keeps like almost and then it kind of goes away again.
Yeah. It fades and then it's back, and then it fades and it's back, and it's like every time we thought that it was faded, that it was just gonna go the way of like every other place, that it didn't work out. Because America's always trying to pick and choose these places that they want to like elevate into being their proxy, and then it doesn't work out, or they. Yeah, or it doesn't work out, or they get what they came for. They got the money that they came for, and then we knew that Ukraine was laundering most of the money and selling the weapons anyways. So it's like that seemed like America would be like, okay, never mind then, never mind you assholes, But that kind of didn't happen. So it's hot and cold, and it's very confusing what the motivation really is, or if we're even ever find out, because obviously the Biden administration is like chosen to do this and pursue this at a time when they could have been, like always, had turned their focus on the United States of America, and then try to make some stuff up real quick that would help people against what bad things that the Trump administration is promising they will do.
Biden recently forgave
that
$4 billion in quote loans to Ukraine. Which, if you're a big Ukraine supporter, you should be like, "What the fuck, loans? We shouldn't be doing loans. We should just be parachuting big pallets of cash down onto them." Yeah,
that was just money laundering.
We can't do. I know, right? We can't do student loan forgiveness. But we can do medical debt forgiveness. How $4 billion? Isn't that more than like all of the student debt in America, like multiple times over? I don't know. I'm just saying things. I'm just a dumb guy over here.
No, it's true. It's like they could have just if you obviously have the authority to forgive billions of dollars.
Well, Nicolette, it's not actually money. It's old munitions that don't even work. So
and it's right. Duh.
Why are you sending them shitty munitions like this?
Yeah, of course. But if they have the authority to do all that stupid shit, like obviously they have the authority to turn the tables like right on, like, open up on America and just really like put some stuff through and really just do whatever they can. And but no.
Why aren't they putting in guardrails for? Apparently, Trump is going to shoot every trans person into the sun. So why don't they write a law that says you can't?
You can't do that. Yeah, exactly. And it's the stupid Trump shit. And right after the election, I was seeing liberals like they just got to this planet, right? Like they were just like, it was a fun. I literally saw someone post, it was a fun experiment while it lasted, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like this is like the dumbest commentary I've ever seen in my life. No, it's been horrible forever. First of all, okay, let's get that right off the table. But secondly, you've been through this before. Like this has happened already once.
It's because brunch is canceled. They can't just go back.
That's exactly what it is. They got through the biggest tantrum that they started taking it out on other people, on immigrants and being like, oh, I can't wait till you're put in a concentration camp. I'm going to call ICE and get you deported for not voting for Kamala Harris. And it's like, all right, rip the mask off. Thanks, though.
Yeah,
we knew the whole time who you were. But you should definitely be seen by other people, and hopefully employers and stuff, about what your kind of your behavior is towards.
I received backlash. I received backlash for political opinions. And you probably will if you're get anywhere near the truth. But it's just interesting how you're talking about people threatening of, I hope all these bad things happen to all these various minority groups. And it's like, through my entire political life on the internet, where people can see my opinions and tell me that I'm wrong, only people who are apparently the most compassionate, the extremely very woke, very pro-marginalized people, only those people have ever tried to get me fired from shit, get me kicked out of things, get me removed from, I don't want to use the word censored because everyone will just roll their eyes, but that's what it is. No MAGA people ever try and fuck up my life. They'll tell me I'm a cuck asshole and you're a bitch. Whatever. They'll say rude things to me, but they don't go who's your boss? I'm going to send him an email.
Right, exactly. They don't try to find out your fucking address.
I'm calling ICE on you to get you deported because you didn't vote for a guy, even though if you're going to get deported by ICE, you couldn't have voted in the first place. Yeah.
And, and I think we both, and maybe this is our own folly, we are sympathetic towards people who are afraid about Trump. Who were just, they were afraid. They just didn't know what to do. They just felt painted into a corner, which they were. They didn't feel like sitting out would help, and they felt like they were trying to do something, and so they vote for Harris. That is not the people that we are targeting here. We are targeting the people who targeted other vulnerable people because they didn't get their way. I feel like, if you were afraid and you didn't know what else to do because you were led down this path and now we're here and what are you going to do? Then you're already one step away from leaving that dichotomy anyways, and start moving left anyways. And that's what we need more of anyway, because we don't, how many times can I say anyway in one statement? But that's what we need anyway. That's what we need. We need more people. We need more people to be able to go through the journeys that we went through, but everybody's got to do it individually on their own and come to that conclusion on their own. So no, we're not targeting people who acted out of fear, even though we said don't act out of fear. But it's the people who targeted people, that were obviously vulnerable in the first place, but were brave enough to say no and stand up for their values, and instead of celebrating that, they have done exactly those kind of things, tried to harm them for not giving them their way. And that might say something about MAGA people, red MAGA being oh, well, we're used to being shit on, so it's whatever. but the blue MAGA people were just so sure that they were going to be, number one, we're getting our way, that when they didn't, it was just mega tantrum, and it's still going on. We're a couple weeks out, it's still going on. I'm still seeing a lot of hate and negativity and really just weird behavior.
If you guys don't, if the people we're talking about, people who still fundamentally believe that Trump is literal Hitler and going to destroy democracy, and the Democrats are going to somehow not do that or be better, or the Democrats are actually the full solution if we just vote for them hard enough, long enough. Right. If you guys don't go do a January 6th, never fucking open your mouth again. You're full of shit. You don't believe anything you say. You just want to be popular at the frickin' breakfast club that you attend every few weeks with your other PMC rich friends.
Yeah, those dumbasses, the MAGA dumbasses, the red MAGAs, they at least did something about it. They weren't happy and they did something about it, complaining on the internet that you didn't get your way, or calling ICE on your somebody you saw waiting for work at Home Depot or something.
That's freaking pussy
Like, man,
behavior.
fuck you. Right? Like I hate. It's those
Go
are the
fight
people
your
who,
battle or shut up.
yeah, exactly.
I'm
And
gonna
they
call the
won't.
manager on you.
Right, it's exactly what it is. It's that managerial behavior that we didn't get our way. So, well, okay, do something about it then. And now we have this whole thing where Bernie is sending out emails and is kind of floating the idea of a new party. Oh, thanks 2016. What's the 2016 called? They want 2016 back. Like, what kind of horse shit, Bernie? People were asking you to go independent back then, and you were like, nah, because what?
Oh, but then Hillary might have lost.
It's a mess. Like, dealing with either of these sides that are so jaded and remain so are people that we're not really even like. We'll make fun of all day. We're gonna sit here and rip on those people all day. But it's like, if you have some sort of idea that you should like maybe remove yourself from that situation, then
remove yourself from the direction spectrum. You are not right or left are directions in capitalism. You either more or less support the current system. If you're on the right, you super support it. If you're on the left, you're like, maybe we should make some slight changes. But you see the people who, quote, want to make some slight changes. You have Kamala Harris on the news literally talking about how she's going to build the border wall better than Trump was building it. So, like, they abandon all of the stuff you actually like on the left. So get the fuck out of the left.
Yeah, right.
Exit that continuum. If you're on the right or left side of a thing, you're still on that thing. Like, left side of my hand, right side of my hand is still my hand.
Right. That's exactly it. Because, like, also, if you are supporting a candidate who is like, okay, you guys are my guys, but also I want to talk to these guys that you have pretended to hate all this time and see if we can get them to vote for us by promising with them what they want. So you come be with us and we'll be together on this. Like, where do you even stand as a liberal, like a blue MAGA? Where do you even stand on that? Because obviously you are just a conservative in disguise, because that's what,
neocons. It's the George Bush people. They just have decided if you're a George Bush voter in 2004,
yes,
what freaking years of that, you're a Democrat now. Like, that's just where you are ideologically.
Right. And then, like, thinking about how far further right that the Democratic Party is going to move, they have an option here. They could look at the last few cycles and be like, hey, this was not a good idea. Moving right really, really, really did not do us any good. But you know that they won't learn a single thing from this.
Every think piece is like, they moved too far left. I'm like, on what?
On what? Yeah. What? Yeah. Do you know what left is? Maybe they made a circle and passed the left and kept going right, because that's it. But like, so, you would like to think that they would learn something from these last few cycles with Hillary and with Biden and with, even though Biden won, it was a bad candidate. We all know it, and did bad, horrible things. And then now with Harris. But we know that going into the next 2028 situation, we're probably going to be looking at like, oh, they wanted right. Are they really right? Then we got to go even righter. That's basically what we're talking about. So if Bernie were serious about maybe doing one final big thing with his career, the man's old. If he was doing one final big thing, then he, maybe could open up people's minds to the idea of starting another party, even if it's like 8 years late, whatever years. I don't know years anymore. After 2000, it's like, what even happened? So the idea of it is maybe there could be something there, a third party finally, or maybe ranked choice voting will take hold in more places. From ballot initiative saying, you want to do ranked choice voting? People are like, oh yeah, we do. That could happen too. But it's going to take people, even if it's just in your thoughts, like it's going to take people moving away from that duopoly and that idea that like it can only be one or the other to get to somewhere else. We have a pretty nice diagram here.
I just really like this meme, and I think of it every time I hear it. 'Cause, where is it? Like the things where it's, oh, is he left? Or like people just irrational need to quantify every phenomena as either right or left. Like, is this song left or right?
Yeah,
exactly. Is this sandwich a left? Refuses to read anything by, quote, the other side. I don't know. I think about this meme a lot, and I'm trying to remove the direction brain tendencies from my brain.
Yeah.
I don't know. Try to examine things as what they are. And because otherwise, what would I do? I would be one of these people running around going, well, Kamala Harris is technically the left of these two, therefore I must unquestioningly support her.
Yeah, and that's the situation. So yeah, obviously there were people that felt pushed into the situation, but now I hope that those people are realizing like, hey, this didn't work. I'm really mad. Not to call ice on people mad, but I'm really mad that I had to participate in this, and now I'm looking for something else. And if that's the case, please come and join us. Like, you're welcome here, and don't have to act like, like, oh, I have to go with the flow. I have to be a right person now or whatever. I have to be conservative. No, you don't. You can feel this way. It's like okay to feel this way. But I think at this point, it's hard for us on the left to not be like told you so. Like we were the ones the whole time, like tambourine, this isn't gonna work. Tambourine, this isn't gonna work. Tambourine, you're just doing this again. It's the same stupid song and dance over and over again. So whatever idiot ticket comes up, in the next cycle, the AOC Buttigieg ticket, they're going to be like the most neocon of neocons that you have ever seen in your life.
Be shocked. I'd be actually less shocked if it was Liz Cheney. Like people keep making that as a joke. It's like I think Liz Cheney is the perfect candidate for what they seem to want to do.
Right.
Also, don't even convince yourself that they even necessarily want to win. This is a big fundraising thing. They could easily just be like, we're just going to lose the next 4 presidential elections or so. We're just going to lose Congress, and then we're just going to spend that whole time going, oh, my God, look how bad things are. Give us money.
Yeah. And don't forget that the Harris campaign, who was forced upon people, nobody voted for her to do, in a primary. Now it's coming out that they blew over $1 billion on celebrity endorsements and really bad PR campaigns that didn't work because they were so focused on the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Turns out Beyonce wasn't free.
Right, exactly. And then they were still sending out fundraising emails afterwards asking people for money. No matter what side you're on, do not give a candidate your money. Don't do it. I don't care if it's a grassroots situation. I don't care if you really believe in it. Don't do it unless you want to lose your money or be scammed out of money, because just exactly what he said, they're just going to go back, and it doesn't matter. Neither side cares if they win or lose, because if they lose, they still go back into fundraising mode and they still get tons of money out of it. If they win, they get tons of money out of it. So it's literally, that's how this system works when you have a corrupt government serving capital. That's what capitalism is. These very few companies, there's only so many of them that are like multi-trillion billion-dollar companies, use these governments to do their bidding for them and grease the wheels so that they can make even more money by not putting laws where there should be or putting laws where there shouldn't be. So that's where we are. And now that we have reached the top of the hour, and I can hear Jared picking out some notes, he's going to kindly treat us to a song, and I'm looking forward to hearing that. So thank you all for joining us live or otherwise. We appreciate you. We are going to be on for, let me look at the calendar here. We'll be on for the next couple of weeks. And then we will be, what is December? Okay, yeah, we will be on until probably next couple of weeks. 17th looks like it'll be our last show and then we'll have holidays off, and then we'll resume in January after that. We will inform you again of that probably several more times. So again, thank you for joining us. Stay safe. Have a good Thanksgiving if you celebrate. If you hate it like me, try and do something else fun, because then it doesn't suck so bad. Don't bother to get into fights with your family. It's not worth it. So take care, everyone, and please enjoy the sultry sounds of our Mr. Mayor Jared. Bye, everybody.
All right. I have fiddled with my guitar and settings, so please tell me if I just am not coming through at all. But I have a cultural touchstone that I would like to touch on, and that is I want to perform my favorite and the only Thanksgiving song that anyone knows. And no, I'm not making a mistake. This is as the author intended, a Thanksgiving song. And I'm going to do all 4 verses because I think they're good. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lank, misfortune seemed his lot. He got into a drifted bank, and then we got upsot. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, a story I must tell. I went out on the snow, and on my back I fell. A gent was riding by in a one-horse open sleigh. He laughed as I was there sprawling lie, but quickly drove away. Oh, jingle bells, let me get my reverb, I forgot. A jingle all the way. Oh, what? Or you know that part. Now the ground is white. Go it while you're young. Take the girls tonight and sing this sleighing song. Just get a bobtail bay, 240 as his speed. Hitch him to an open sleigh and snap, you'll take the lead. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. That's it.